Hey everyone, the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the bell notifications down below if you haven't already. Good morning, folks, and welcome back to another episode of the Wagon Wheel of Wisdom. I am Kevin, your host. Behind me, as usual, beautiful wagon wheel, and hopefully a little wisdom up here. It is very early in the AM. I woke up about 4:30, maybe 4:15-ish. It is a full moon Saturday, so I was sitting outside just kind of basking in that. I don't know how the rest of you were feeling in the days leading up, but 2 nights ago it was kind of a rough go. Yesterday was a little more content, but just kind of my energy was definitely heightened. But this morning, so far, feeling pretty good actually. Pretty calm. Still, obviously thinking about my counterpart, but all in all, decent. So I hope you guys are having a great full moon Saturday. I hope your day starts out well. But let's get into this a little bit. I wanted to talk about boundaries and the importance of them. On this journey, so far, I have been learning the art of setting new boundaries, and I've really noticed it in the aspect of my relationships changing, as I've talked about in different videos. And to tell you the truth, it is for, and this is a tough word to say, but it is for your own protection in a way. When we look at this from the idea of just inner healing. And what I've found, and it seems that most of you have found this too, that we just sort of isolate ourselves, sort of go into this cocoon of sorts. And if you're going down that route of where you do kind of a self-isolation, and I don't mean just absolutely shutting out the world, because I think that's a terrible thing to do actually. I just mean it in the sense of you have completely changed your habits. Maybe you don't go out as much anymore. Maybe if the bar scene was your scene before, it's not something you want to do. You're changing up your daily routines where instead of maybe sitting around, these are boundaries you're kind of just setting with yourself. You're now getting out for walks and working out and things like that. But more importantly, I would say setting the boundaries for what I would deem unhealthy people in your life, people that maybe you just kind of notice were, just there, and now you feel they are possibly a strain in your life, where when you listen to them talk, it's just kind of the same yada, yada, yada. Well, I've been doing this personally where it's not that I don't acknowledge them and don't talk to them, it's just become sort of less and less and less. And honestly, I've become completely okay with that. I still have two very close friends that I talk to, whether it's text or on the phone daily, which is great. They are both great people, great men in my life, and each has their specific role. One I talk to openly about advice and things like that, but more importantly, the boundary aspect with other relationships that were, I don't want to say meaningless in a way, but maybe not as much meaning as I had given them. Now let's shift this over to the boundary, and this is going to be a hard one, the boundary of no contact. I'd like to sit here and tell you, as most of you are like, well, why is this a boundary, and why is this a good thing? Well, boundaries are good things in your life. The boundary of no contact is also a good thing in your life. And please don't look at this from the sense of, wait a minute, they're not talking to me because they're out doing their own thing. If we were to switch this mindset and flip it around and just say, they are not doing this to be cruel. They are doing this from a place of love. And I'm just going to use myself as an example. And as you know, I've been pretty open and vulnerable about this. My energy when we broke up, or when she broke up with me, was very needy. I've carried that energy the months after as well, in some aspect, thinking, oh my God, I'm on this twin flame journey. Do I tell her I'm on a twin flame journey? She'll take me back then. No. That's incredibly needy energy. And this is where that boundary that they've set has come into complete importance. It honestly is energetically from their perspective, telling you that they love you, because you don't need them, you need you. I'm going to say that again. You don't need them, you need you. That's what they're trying to show you. It's sort of, people refer to it as tough love. I don't want to say it's tough love, it's necessary love. It's incredibly necessary because we can't bring in the old energy of neediness into this relationship where we're going again. They will reject you over and over and over again. I would say the neediness is probably the number one repellent. If I were to actually inject myself in her shoes and look at me back then, would I have wanted to date me? And the answer is kind of a resounding no. I mean, I'm a great guy. Don't, I'm just kidding. Not kidding, but just from the perspective well, I mean, I guess flip it around. Do you want a needy person in your life if you were to just openly start dating again somebody that, you kind of, all of a sudden you come home from a tough day at work and they're blowing up your phone. Now they want to hang out and you're just like, give me a damn break. So I would ask you, would you want that in your life? And the answer is no. That's where the importance of boundaries really sets in. You should love this person with all your heart and need them in the least. And that may sound incredibly counterintuitive to some folks, but realistically, think about that for a second. You should be with them because you love them, not because you need them. And it's going to be vice versa. So think of that when you're maybe getting spun up, or like I have to a lot, getting spun up about how, oh my God, another day, no contact. You got to quit worrying about that. And trust me, from my perspective, it's freaking hard because you're thinking about them a lot. But once you kind of do that quote unquote mirror exercise and you flip it around and you put it back on you, it's like, well, would I want to be around somebody who's needy? Because truthfully, at this point in my journey, I mean, I miss her. There's no question about it. But the thing is, when I think about it deeply, would I still be giving off a needy vibe, or would I just be like, oh my God, she contacted me, yeah, it's all over? Bullshit. It's not. Got to maintain that homeostasis where you're grounded, balanced. You can be excited that they're in your life again if they contact you, but are you giving off that needy vibe again? And I suppose pressuring them, energetically pressuring them in a way to, um, see it from your perspective that they have to be in your life. And that's that's the tough aspect with this is we're stuck in this, or at least I'm stuck in this. I shouldn't say we are, but I'm stuck in this mode of giddy excitement thinking of her contacting me, but at the same time, that would be me giving off that needy energy, and it just kind of gets you stuck in that perpetual loop. I don't know what it is about the full moon right now, but it's really had me thinking about the boundary aspect of things. But it's also having me transition it from looking at it from her eyes versus looking at it from my own quote unquote needs and wants. So I just wanted to give you that. And I have been doing the mirror exercise a little bit more. I forget the web or the channel that came from. It's Jeff and Shalala, I think, are their names. I've been finding that to be incredibly effective. And in one of the ideas that they had was when you go through this mirror exercise. So much like what I'm doing here, let's say I'm feeling a pain inside of my heart, and it has to do with me blaming her for breaking up with me. What if I were to flip that around and say, well, what are my needs in this case, and look at it from my perspective, where I'm changing the nouns and pronouns from they're hurting me to I'm hurting me. And at the end of this exercise, you are looking at your inner child, you're digging in deep as to what you're neglecting on your own and giving yourself a warm hug. And here's what spawned this for me, which again, I'm trying to pick up on more signs and synchronicities and lessons as they're right there in front of me most of the time. It's just I'm failing to see them. And I'm going to talk about my son, for example. He's a 10-year-old. And I'm going to compare it to the relationship with his mom versus me. When we were married, or when I was married to his mom, she was never really the most openly affectionate woman. In fact, when it came to hugging, embracing, just kind of, you know, you could sense the energetic distance between her and, she didn't hug her dad, never hugged her mom that I saw. And what I'm seeing now is her and our son rarely embrace. Him and I, on the other hand, if I stop over, for example, the last 2 or 3 nights I've stopped over at his mom's place or their place, and before I leave, he'll come, you know, out through the door and he'll hit me with the biggest hug, and he always does the like he comes in and he just gives me this. Or if he's here, Jesus, I'm tearing up a little bit already. If he's here right before he goes to bed, he motions to me. I'm going to do it anyway, but he pulls me in and he just doesn't want to let me go. And he almost gets into this trance like state. Now, where am I going with this? With this mirror exercise, the one thing that I am trying so hard to do every time, sometimes it works, sometimes it takes a little more effort, sometimes it doesn't. It's just where I'm at mentally. But I am trying to, when I sit with this, shut my eyes, go back, drill down to those child moments where maybe I was feeling neglected. Maybe I was seeking attention. Maybe I was seeking love. Maybe there was no love to be found from parents who didn't hug me. And what I'm doing is I'm going back, and this body of mine energetically is going back and embracing that young child, much in the same manner that my little man is doing to me. And I never really connected the dots with it. But when he hugs me, I feel this warmth, this connection from my heart space to his. And it transcends time, it transcends emotion. It could be the worst freaking day on the planet at that point. And as soon as he hits me with that hug, it changes me. And so I am embracing that love and trying to take it back and hug that scarred aspect of my old self, my old child. And it seems to be working. It seems to really ground me. And it also lets me know that I still have my own back. And back to the part of the boundaries, or the boundaries of no contact, that's sort of seemingly what we want to do. Self-validation, knowing that we are there for ourselves. Think of it this way. I think you know deep down you're going to be there for your partner if and when they come back into your life. It's not even a question. But are you always there for yourself? Is the other question. You can't be there for somebody else if you're not there for yourself first. I don't think it works that way. And if you were like me, you were a giver. But you were a giver to the point of where you completely emptied your cup to fill up somebody else, and that is a big no-no. You've got to maintain your energy throughout this, and that's the ultimate test through this, because there's days you just want to say, F it, I'm done. I've had them days. In fact, one of them might have been 2 days ago where you just want to throw in the towel, I'm done with this journey, and it's no, because you get that point, guess what? You gave up on yourself. You gave up on yourself. You violated your own loving boundary in a way. You gave up on yourself. So let's think about that for a little bit. Let that sit in, let that sink in a little bit, and how important boundaries are, number one, in your 3D world for other people, but more importantly, the boundary that they're giving you right now. And as hard as it is to rationalize or wrap your head around of no contact, because it is painful, it's just showing you how important it is that you need to love you first. And that's what I got this morning, guys. I hope the full moon energy has been kind to you. I came back from while I was at football practice last night, and holy crap, the kids ever spun up. There was a couple scuffles breaking out. People seemed a little wild on the drive home. A lot of people out last night, but I stayed in and was in bed by 8:30 doing journaling and reading, and just kind of, I don't know, felt like the place to be at the time. So I hope you guys are having a good time. Next full moon is in what, 28, 29 days. So I hope you enjoy this one, as it's running through my sign of Aries right now, and all is well in the world. So love you guys.